They say, if you really want to know someone's heart, watch how they treat the people they believe they'll never need. She was wiping a glass. Just another day, just another chore. No one noticed. No one asked her name. But then, I'm pregnant, the girl said. But it's not his. We've never even touched. He thinks I'm waiting for marriage. I'm just waiting for the ring. His mother? Old, judgmental, and broke, she scoffed. That woman thinks she can test me with her little wisdom? Please! I'm not losing this shot. Malik is my golden ticket, and if I have to drug him to make it happen, so be it. She froze. She had heard enough. She was just the maid, but not really. She was his mother, and she had come here to uncover the truth. They called her Adama, 19, beautiful, full of dreams. She lived in a dusty little village where nothing ever changed, except how quickly people turned on you. One mistake, and you became a ghost. She sat on the floor, knees tucked, holding a torn piece of cloth. It was her baby's first shirt. Her father stood in the doorway, his face carved in stone. You've brought shame to this house. Her mother looked away, didn't speak, didn't fight. Adama whispered, I didn't do this alone. Her father didn't blink. You did it without marriage. That's enough. He pointed at the door. Leave. She walked, with nothing but a cloth bag and swollen feet. She walked until her legs gave out. Then she walked some more, to the city, to noise, to strangers. No welcome, no pity. Pregnant? The woman at the food stall asked. No job here. We need someone strong. Another house, another rejection. You have no husband? No thanks. Adama worked. Anything. Everything. She washed clothes by the river. She swept floors. She sold fruit from a broken cart in the market. And at night, she'd whisper to her belly, You'll never be ashamed of who you are. I'll make sure of that. Malik was born on a rainy morning. His cry was soft, but her promise was fierce. She named him King because that's what he would become. Not because of money, but because of spirit. She looked at his tiny fingers and said, You're not a mistake. You're the beginning of something better. The neighbors gossiped. Men stared. Some smiled. Then disappeared the moment they saw the child. One man said, I can't compete with your son for attention. Another said, You'll never fully love me. There's always him. She stopped hoping, stopped dreaming of romance, started building. She saved every coin, started selling cloth, one color, then two. Day by day, she turned a market stall into a business, not big, not fancy, but enough to feed her child and herself. At night, she'd brush Malik's hair as he drifted to sleep and whisper, I may be alone, but I will raise a man the world can't ignore. Malik was 5 when he started asking questions. Mama, why don't I have a daddy? Adama smiled, then knelt beside him. Because some men leave before they learn how to stay. He nodded like he understood. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But he never asked again. By 6, he could count money faster than she could. By 8, he was helping sell fabric at the market. By 10, he was bargaining with grown men twice his size. They laughed. They called him Little Boss. Adama watched from the shade. No gold, no name, no connections. But her son, he was rising. One evening, Malik came home with a paper. I passed top of my class, he said. Adama cried without noise. She hugged him tight. Then we keep going, she whispered. Years passed. The business grew. So did Malik. He started learning computers, fixing phones, building apps, making money, from nothing but code and vision. By 24, he had investors. By 27, he had offices. And by 30, he had a company known across the continent, a tech empire. People called him genius, innovator, disruptor. He called himself just my mother's son. They begged him to move abroad. America needs minds like yours, they said. But Malik stayed. He said, if my mother could build something with nothing, then I can build greatness from home. He bought her a house, big, white, quiet. But Adama chose to stay in her old home, in the dusty neighborhood, with neighbors who knew her name. She said, luxury doesn't feel right unless it's earned with love. Malik respected that. He never forced her. Every weekend he came back, a billionaire in sandals carrying groceries for his mama. And one Sunday afternoon, he sat down with a strange look in his eyes. "Mama," he said, "there's someone I want you to meet." Her name was Zahara. She walked like she owned the ground, spoke like every word cost gold, and smiled like she knew men would pay it. She wore red, always red, even when it wasn't Sunday. Malik said, "She's smart, Mama, runs her own fashion label, confident, driven, beautiful." Adama said nothing, just nodded, but something in her heart tightened. She met Zahara a week later. The girl arrived late, no apology, no eye contact. "Nice to meet you," Zahara said, while scrolling through her phone. Adama offered her tea. Zahara didn't touch it. "It's not herbal," she said. "My trainer says no caffeine." When Zahara left, Malik asked, "Well, what do you think?" Adama looked away. "She's very polished. That's a good thing, right?" Adama changed the subject. Days turned into weeks. Zahara's name filled Malik's lips. "She understands me, Mama. She respects my work. She says I inspire her." Adama just listened, but her heart, it whispered, "Inspiration without love is empty." Then came the big moment. Malik sat her down. "Mama, I'm proposing next week." Silence. Then, "I want your blessing." She looked into his eyes, her voice low. "Then let me test her." Malik frowned. "Test?" "Yes," Adama said. "Let me see how she treats people she thinks are beneath her." "How?" "I'll come to your house," she said, "as your maid." Malik laughed. "Ma, that's dramatic." Adama didn't blink. "You want a wife? Then let's make sure she's not just marrying your money." He paused, then nodded. "Okay, but just for a few days." Adama smiled. "That's all I need." She packed nothing but a scarf, 2 dresses, and a plan. By morning, she was no longer Adama. She was Ya, the new housemaid. She stood at the gate, scarf low, voice lower. "Name?" the guard asked. "Ya," she answered. "New housemaid." He let her in without a second glance. That was the point. Inside the mansion, Zahara twirled on the marble floor like it was a runway. "This house is perfect," she said. "I'll have my stylist redecorate the lounge." Malik nodded. "Sure, this is Ya," he said, waving toward Adama. "She'll take care of things around here." Zahara looked her up and down. Once. "That's fine, just make sure she doesn't touch my things." That night, Adama cooked jollof rice. She served it hot. Malik played along, raised his voice. "Why is this cold?" he barked. "You call this food?" Adama bowed her head. "I'm sorry, sir." Zahara didn't flinch, didn't speak, didn't even look up from her nails. Later, Malik asked, "Was I too harsh?" Zahara shrugged. "She's just a maid. She should know how to do her job." Next morning, "Yeah, my heels! I said wipe them clean, not ruin them." Lunch. "Yeah, don't breathe so loud. You're giving me a headache." Evening. "Yeah, pour my wine slower. You're splashing like a village girl." Adama said nothing. She just watched and waited. Day 4, Malik was gone on business. Zahara was home, alone with Ya. Adama entered the kitchen to wash dishes. Zahara stood by the sink holding a glass. "You forgot this yesterday." Adama reached for it. Zahara didn't hand it over. She threw the water in Adama's face, then whispered, "Clean it again, old woman. Or better yet, clean yourself." Adama stood still. Her voice was soft. "I could be your mother, you know." Zahara smiled. "My mother would never be a maid. Poor, dirty, powerless." Adama wiped her face and her soul, then went back to cleaning. But the clock inside her heart? It had started ticking. The doorbell rang at noon. Zahara didn't move. "Yeah!" she shouted. "Get that!" Adama opened the door. It was Amina. Kind eyes, simple dress, a bag in hand. "I'm here to drop off Mr. Malik's documents," she said, then paused. I know you." Adama smiled. "Yes, child. The market. You helped me." Amina smiled back. "I didn't know you worked here." Before Adama could answer, Zahara's voice cut through. Yeah, what's taking so long?" Amina blinked. "That voice." She followed Adama inside. Zahara sat on the couch, legs crossed, phone in hand. She didn't look up. "Took you long enough," she snapped. "Put the tea on the table and go." Adama obeyed. Amina stood still, watching. Zahara finally noticed her. "And who are you?" she asked. Amina, she said. I work for Mr. Malik. Zahara's eyes narrowed. Ah, the secretary. Cute. Adama turned to leave. Zahara barked again. And yeah, next time maybe don't dress like a scarecrow. You're in a millionaire's house. Try not to lower the property value. Amina's jaw tightened. She stepped forward. Excuse me, she said, but don't you think that's a little harsh? Zahara raised an eyebrow. Excuse me? She mocked. You think you can tell me how to speak in my house? No, Amina replied calmly, but I can tell you this. Kindness isn't weakness, and cruelty isn't class. Zahara scoffed. You're just a secretary. Stay in your lane. Amina didn't budge. She's a human being, she said, nodding at Adama. She deserves respect. Silence. Then Zahara laughed. If you're done playing hero, you can leave. I don't argue with poor people. Amina walked to the door, turned back once more. To be poor in money is nothing, but to be poor in spirit? That's tragic. She nodded to Adama and left. Adama stood there in silence, but inside she was burning. Not from shame, not from anger, but from clarity. The game was almost over. It was quiet. Too quiet. Zahara paced the living room barefoot, phone pressed tight to her ear. Adama had just returned from the market. She paused near the hallway. The door was slightly open, and the devil doesn't always speak loud. Sometimes, she whispers. I'm pregnant, Zahara said. Silence on the other end. No, not with him. We've never, you know. She laughed. Sharp, dry. His mother's fault. Wait till marriage, she said. Ugh. Adama froze. Her breath caught in her chest. Zahara kept talking. But I'm not losing him. You hear me? Another pause. I don't care if it's someone else's baby. Once I trap Malik, he's locked. Her voice dropped lower. What do you mean, put something in his drink? She walked toward the kitchen. Are you serious? Adama slowly reached into her pocket. Her fingers touched the record button on her phone. Pressed. The voice kept spilling. If I can't get him the normal way, Zahara said, then I'll make it happen one night. Slip something. Get him in bed. Then oops, baby's yours. She laughed again. It's either this, or I lose the lifestyle. Her friend replied, faint but clear. Do what you gotta do, he's rich. Men like that don't come twice. Zahara ended the call and sighed. Tonight, she muttered. I'm making sure I never have to work a day in my life again. Adama stepped back. Quiet, careful. Her hands trembled, but her eyes? Sharp, focused. She returned to her room, locked the door, sat on the edge of the bed, pressed play, then played it again, and again, until her tears dried into resolve. She didn't come here to spy. She came here to protect. And now, she had proof. And proof was power. She looked out the window. Night was falling. Malik would be home soon, and his glass was already waiting. Malik walked in just past 9, tie loose, eyes tired. Zahara greeted him with a smile too perfect. You look exhausted, she said sweetly. Let me get you something to drink. He nodded, dropped his keys on the table, and sank into the couch. Adama stood in the hallway, hidden, watching. Zahara moved fast, into the kitchen, opened her purse, pulled out a tiny vial. She poured the powder into a glass of mango juice, stirred it with care, and smiled like the devil on Sunday. She walked back in. Here you go, babe, she cooed. It'll help you relax. Malik reached for it. His fingers touched the glass. Then, wait. The voice was sharp, firm, undeniable. Malik turned. Yeah? Adama stepped forward. Her scarf was gone. Her posture changed. She wasn't the maid anymore. She was the mother. Zahara blinked. What are you doing? She snapped. This is none of your business. Adama's eyes didn't leave the glass. I know what's in it. Malik stood. What is she talking about? Zahara laughed. She's crazy. You need to get rid of her. She's been acting weird all week. Adama's voice cut through the lie. She tried to drug you, to trap you, with a child that isn't yours. Silence, dead silence. Then, Adama pulled out her phone, pressed play. Zahara's voice filled the room. The laughter, the plan, the lies. Word for word. Zahara's face went pale. No, it's not. That was just talk. Girl talk. It didn't mean anything. Malik's voice turned cold. Joking? You call drugging me a joke? Zahara stepped closer. Please, Malik, I love you. I was afraid to lose you. Adama moved between them. Love without truth is a weapon. Zahara's voice cracked. I can change, I'll be better. Malik shook his head. No, you've already shown me who you are. He called for security. Escort her out now. Zahara screamed, cried, begged, but the door closed behind her, like a sentence. Malik stood still, then turned to Adama. You saved me. She nodded. I almost lost you into a lie. He pulled her close. I should have listened sooner. Adama smiled. Now you know, not every woman who says she loves you means it. Days passed, but the silence in Malik's house lingered longer than Zahara's perfume. He sat in the garden, head down, his mother beside him, silent. Then he asked, How do I know who really loves me? Adama didn't look at him, just said, You test gold with fire, you test love with loss. Malik thought for a moment. Then a name slipped from his lips. Amina! She hadn't called, hadn't asked questions, hadn't tried to check on him after the Zahara fallout. She had simply disappeared, like dignity sometimes does when people get too close to lies. That night, Malik picked up his phone. Typed, deleted, typed again, then called. Hello? Her voice was calm, still kind. Amina, it's me. I know, she said. Are you okay? I don't know, he said, but I'd like to see you. A pause. All right, when? Tomorrow, just dinner. Simple. She showed up in a plain dress. No makeup, no heels, just her. Malik opened the door. You're still the same, he said. I had no reason to change, she smiled. They ate on the balcony. No music, no noise, just breathing and history. Then Malik said, I need to tell you something. Okay, I've lost everything. My company, gone. Investors pulled out. I'm moving into a smaller place. This house isn't mine anymore. Amina looked at him. Soft eyes, still. Then she reached across the table. You're still you. That's all that matters. Malik couldn't speak. I also lost my job, she added with a smile. So, looks like we're even. He laughed. And for the first time in weeks, meant it. Amina stood to leave. But before she walked out, she turned. I have no idea what the future holds, Malik. But if you're in it, I'll be okay. Then she left. No promises, no pressure, just presence. Adama stood watching from the hallway, whispered to herself. She stayed. The idea came to Malik late at night, while staring at an old photo, him and Amina at the office retreat. He had to know, not just hope, not just believe, know. So he called his lawyer, his PR team, his assistant, and crafted a story loud enough to echo across the city. Malik Adebayo, the tech golden boy, bankrupt. He lost it all, the headlines screamed. From billionaire to beggar. He sent a company-wide email. Funding gone. Operations paused. Layoffs effective immediately. The phone stopped ringing. The party invites vanished. Old friends ghosted. Business partners disappeared. Even James, his closest friend since college, sent a one-line text. Sorry, bro. I gotta focus on me right now. But Amina? She didn't call. She didn't ask. She came, knocked on the door of his new apartment. Small, cracked paint, broken fan. He opened the door in a plain t-shirt. She held up a pot. Rice and stew, she said. He smiled. I didn't ask for anything. She stepped inside. That's why I brought it. They ate on the floor. No plates, just 2 spoons and 1 shared bowl. She looked around. This place isn't so bad, she said. He raised an eyebrow. It's hot, small, no AC? She shrugged. Still better than fake people in big houses. Day after day she came. Groceries, ideas, laughter. Never once asked, when will you be rich again? One evening, as they washed dishes together in a plastic basin, Malik turned to her. Why are you still here? Amina wiped her hands, then looked at him. Because the man I love didn't disappear when the money did. He froze. You love me? I did when you had it all. I still do now. Malik said nothing, just pulled her into his arms, held her, tighter than truth. That night, he drove to his mother's house. Told her everything. Adama nodded. You have your answer now. He looked down, softly. Yes, Mama, I do. The next morning, Malik showed up at Amina's apartment with breakfast and something else in his eyes. "Can we talk?" he asked. "Always," she said. They sat by her window. Sunlight on their faces. No shadows left to hide. Malik cleared his throat. "There's something I need to confess." She looked concerned. "Is everything okay?" He nodded. Yes and no. He told her everything. The fake bankruptcy, the rumors, the test. She didn't interrupt, didn't flinch. When he finished, she just said, "So, you lied to me?" "Yes," he whispered. "And you tested me?" "Yes." Silence. Then, "I understand," she said. "But that doesn't mean it didn't hurt." Malik looked up. "I know, and I hate that it came to this. But I needed to see if your heart was real." She took a breath. "And now?" He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small velvet box, opened it. "Amina," he said, "you stood by me when the world walked out. You fed me when others forgot I existed. You loved me when I had nothing to offer." He got on one knee. "Will you be my wife?" She covered her mouth, tears in her eyes, voice trembling. "Yes, yes, Malik." He placed the ring on her finger and kissed the back of her hand, like it was sacred. Weeks later, at the engagement dinner, Adama stood to give a toast. "To my son," she said, "who finally saw with his heart. And to the woman," she turned to Amina, "who didn't just pass the test, but rewrote the story." The guests clapped, the night danced, and somewhere in that crowded room, an old mother finally exhaled. She had walked through shame, storms, and silence, and found her son a love that spoke louder than words. Some people love your light, some love your fire, but only a few will sit beside you when there's no flame left. That's what this story was about. And if it moved something in you, hit subscribe, because here at Tales of Black, we tell stories that don't just entertain, they remember.